Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Aaron Hilliard for Mushroom Wonderland. I'm out here in this beautiful forest with my dog Gunner. We're out here to see what kind of mushrooms are growing next to the trail in the new year in 2024. I'm the vice president of the local Mycological Society. I'm here in Western Washington. And at any given time of the year, I like to come out here in the woods and discover what kind of mushrooms are growing and help describe them for you. If you have an interest in outdoor foraging and wild mushrooms, this is the channel for you. Make sure to hit subscribe and come with me into the forest to see the first mushrooms of the year 2024.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
So I'm on this trail, kind of a primitive trail, and it's a secret kind of spot of mine, you know, because there's so many cool mushrooms and a lot of chanterelles that often grow out here. So kind of one of those spots I like to keep a secret. So I like to park quite a ways down the road because I don't want my vehicle giving away that I'm out here in the woods. A lot of people know what people are up to in the forest. And this is a hot spot for mushroom picking in this part of the state. So we park a ways down the road and then hike in to get to our favorite spots. And it's not because I'm trying to be greedy, but it's just nice to have a reliable honey hole. But the chanterelles are probably done. We might find a couple, but it's getting late in the season. You know what I mean? It's the middle of winter and it's been very mild up to this point, but next week looks like snow in the forecast, so the mushrooms might finally be going bye-bye. But there's still a lot of different mushrooms growing right now. Just hasn't really froze very hard yet this year, this winter. So not complaining about that. And oh, would you look right there? This is what I'm talking about. The Golden Trail. The Chanterelle Trail, look at that, beautiful. Chanterelles formosus, growing in January 2024. Sounds weird to say that, but here we are. And just growing right on the side of the trail. So, like I said, this is an awesome trail. I often find just a lot of mushrooms right on the sides of the trail as I'm walking along. So, gonna definitely find some chanterelles, but I'm really hoping to see some hedgehogs. Hedgehog mushrooms like the cold weather. They come out in the winter. They have little teeth that hang down underneath them rather than these gills or ridges like a chanterelle has. And the hedgehog is maybe my favorite one to eat. They're a little bit more rare, especially in this area. And they seem to associate with bigger, older trees. So a lot of the younger trees that these chanterelles can be found around are just too young for hedgehog mushrooms. But look at this, I'm seeing more orange here and here. So, they're a little long in the tooth, but, you know, totally still good mushrooms growing out here. Chanterelles in the middle of winter. So, that's how mild it's been. But I like these mossy areas. This is where I slow down and really kind of start looking. And this is where, you know, good mushroom habitat is in these conifer forests where there's a lot of moss on the ground, a lot of this low brush. Mushrooms just really like these kind of areas. So, yeah, I take a gander around, and if I'm not seeing anything too obvious, then I'll just keep moving. Don't forget my chanterelles. That's another one. So yeah, this trail just really doesn't get walked on much because, I mean, there's chanterelles literally growing right on the sides of the trail. So it's one of my favorite little pathways. And I've mentioned in other videos that I can't do the chanterelles. They upset my tummy. But look at this. I have family that love them. My mom, my wife, father-in-law. So when I come across them, I definitely do collect them. They're beautiful. I wish I could eat them, but they just do me wrong. Oh, there's another one back there. So, kind of surprising. Well, look at this. That one's way past its prime, but coming across a lot of chanterelles right now. That is really cool. They like this salal brush, you know. We got a western hemlock right here. This black huckleberry, this evergreen huckleberry, Douglas fir, and a lot of this salal. They really like to grow under this kind of stuff. So, finding quite a few chanterelles. A little bit wet, but they'll dry out on some paper towels. And it's a big boy. I know, I've got a plastic bag. It's sacrilege, like literally plastic sacrilege, but it's all good. They'll be okay. I'm not gonna be out here forever, but you can pick in a plastic bag. It's not that big of a deal. Personally, I never get tired of days like this. Nice gray, rainy, foggy days. It just feels cozy for some reason, you know, if you're wearing the right gear. You know, if you're cold out here or wet, that sucks, but I don't know. I just kind of like being all bundled up and just comfy and walking in these forests when it's like this. It's sort of magical, sort of mystical. Right here, we've got Lacaria lacata. Old and blown out. You see that? This thing's probably been growing for a couple months, just chilling here. Just existing and throwing spores out. So, Lacaria, really common, hardy, cold weather mycorrhizal mushrooms, and really everywhere this year. And they are very persistent. They just keep on growing. I've seen them with snow on them. Right here, there's a stump, and I'm seeing these little brown mushrooms. Kind of a more rare saprophytic mushroom, likes to grow on really old decayed stumps like this. This is known as Callistosporium luteolivaceum, or some people call it the olive lute, and it's got kind of this olive coloring on the cap. It's got a white spore print. It's just kind of a boring mushroom. It's a little bit more interesting if you put some KOH on it. It'll actually turn purple, which is kind of cool, but other than that, you know, as far as edibility goes, it's unknown to inedible. Just a mushroom that you probably wouldn't find enough to really constitute any kind of a meal anyways. They're so small. They have kind of this creamy ochre yellowish colored gill, and then this olivaceous colored cap. Saprotrophic, kind of boring. They could be confused for a deadly Galerina or for the enoki, but they don't have the velvety tough stem that an enoki would. So anyways, the olive lute, sort of a not a mushroom you see every day here on Mushroom Wonderland. Callistosporium luteolivaceum. This is a beautiful little saprophytic mushroom, and we're just going to leave these here in the forest to do their job, whatever that is. Gunner's trying to get us lost, taking us off trail, but look what I come across in the process. Look at this. This is a golden chanterelle with rose comb mutation. Look at that guy. This is just like a bunch of gills starting to grow on top of the cap. Never really heard a good excuse for why this happens. I've talked about some of the theories on previous videos that, you know, had something to do with petroleum being spilled here, or maybe it was a freeze and then a thaw and then a freeze and then a thaw, but I don't know. They just, you know, in some areas I find these same rose combs every year, which I think is interesting. Oh, look. So look right down here. They're kind of blending in, but ooh. We got the Cortinaria cinnamomea, the cinnamon caps. Look at these, are good dyer's mushrooms. Beautiful gills. I mean, the color there is just really unusual. So Cortinaria is a big genus of mushrooms, mostly not good to eat, but some of them with these brilliant colors can be used for dyeing protein fabrics. So these ones, you know, are related to those really dark red ones that I've found a few times over this last fall, but There's a bit of a fruiting down here. There's another larger one in there. But I'm not gonna collect these. I'm just taking the chanterelles today. But no good for eating, but can be really cool for dyeing with. Now Gunner's got me off in the brush and my legs are getting all wet. Dude, this isn't what I asked for. Oh my gosh, look at back here though. See that? Whew, they're out here. They are out here. So this is kind of in an open area too. There's like these trees, but it's really an open canopy for chanterelles to be growing right here. So look at this. Now I'm soaked. I should have worn my rain gear pants. If only I had a brand of rain gear that I really liked, I would totally take a sponsorship. Little golden chanterelle. Tough little nugget there. They're literally just on the side of the trail everywhere. I'm starting to get a pretty good bag of them. Oh, look right down here. Cool. So these show up in a lot of the videos, and they're just out like crazy right now. The Chanterelles tubiformis, or the winter chanterelle. So this is a different kind of chanterelle. Chanterelle just being the common name, but totally different genus. Not even related to the golden chanterelle, but they do kind of grow a little bit the same. And they have this bright yellow foot, and they grow in these big troops. Look, they're all down in here. They're everywhere right here. I could really get in here and pick a lot. Oh man, they're all back there. And as I look beyond them, it looks like growing off of a log up here is a golden chanterelle. So they're all growing together. We got winter chanterelles. We have golden chanterelles. It is chanterelle mania out here, man. So, dang, there's some of the biggest winter chanterelles down there I've ever seen. But we came into a pretty nice patch in the wintertime of edible mushrooms. So, fun. You know, you start to just not even care that you're wet anymore and just start going for it, you know. But look at these winter chanterelles. Some of them almost as big as a dang golden Pacific chanterelle. But these two, different genus, different kind of mushrooms. And both delicious. Some of them disagree with some people. I don't eat these ones, but I eat the littler ones. Right back in here, more winter chanterelles. So they're out like crazy. But we've picked so many of those. We're gonna leave those behind today. Umbilicate cap, you know, and the yellow foot, bright yellow foot. Pretty. A lot of pretty mushrooms out today. Pretty cool. Look right down here, this crazy thing popping out of the side of the root cluster here. And there's a whole bunch of them right here. Look like weird little clubs growing out of the ground. These are otidia, or the hare's ear. You could kind of see it might look like a rabbit's ear. And they've been somewhat common this year. I found big fruitings of them. These ones are an interesting species. They're kind of more cylindrical shaped rather than flat. And, you know, it looks like a tongue just coming out of the earth. Isn't that bizarre? So anyways, I'm not going to play with it too much. In fact, I'm just going to leave it here to do its thing. This is producing spores here right off the surface. And I imagine like a lot of these kind of mushrooms, you could just see like clouds of spores come off at the right time. And look, a pretty little winter chanterelle just growing right by it. Hey, buddy. And I see another patch of winter chanterelles up in there. So, otidia, the hare's ears, they look kind of bizarre. This is a really neat section of forest up here. Very crowded in here. Gunner knows where we're going. Oh, look. The Calicera viscosa, this one. The jelly antler. You see, it looks like a little antler. And Calicera viscosa. Nothing really known about edibility. It's probably, you know, edible, I guess. Probably doesn't have any toxins, but it's so small, somewhat rare that you just aren't going to find enough to really eat. On the other hand, there's winter chanterelles just boiling out of the ground everywhere. Very common this year. And I just think they're some of the greatest eating mushrooms. Nice little troop of them right there. Another one right here. So in the new year, still finding tons of edible mushrooms, more than I want to pick right now. Little areas like this where it's sort of like a game trail, coming off the main trail. These are areas that I like to step into and just peek around, you know what I mean? This is how you discover your patch, is getting off the main trail, and then you might run into a nice patch of mushrooms, and then you can just call it your own, you know? Wearing shoes with good support, or boots that are dry and warm and supportive, super important. Out here, you don't want to twist your ankle and be alone out here, and have to hobble all the way back out of the woods. So take care of your feet and be safe. Look at all these beautiful winter chanterelles. I mean, they're like right here on the side of the trail, so like I can't pass these up, you know what I mean? They're too easy to pick. They're too beautiful, they're too prime, so I'm gonna pick these. Look at that, this one left a spore deposit on top of the cap of this one. It's got white spores, you can see that. See that white cloudiness? But man, these are just in prime shape, and it doesn't hurt them to pluck them. It's okay, you could check out my video on cut or pluck and get all schooled by like the whole mycological community on the difference. These guys are mycorrhizal, growing with these trees. The main part of the fungus is actually underground. And these are just the fruiting bodies. They're like just fruits, you know, that are growing at the surface. They're just gonna rot and disintegrate anyway. So why not pick them, you know, get some spores kicked up in the air, carry them around, drop spores everywhere you're going. You're doing a huge service to the mushrooms. But look, that quick, and we've got a nice meal worth of yellowfoot. So I'm holding the camera, so I'm doing kind of a sloppy job of picking, but you can take your time and care more and clip all the dirty butts off of them, you know. But I clean them up when I get home, and they're tough. They take a beating. They can handle well being traveled and whatnot. So some of my favorites for sure, and looks like I am going to collect some of these. Right here, trailside in the winter, a nice healthy young Russula brevipees popping up. So man, these are long-lived mushrooms. These started coming out last August. A lot of them in the form of lobster mushrooms, but still a lot of Russula brevipees. The short-footed Russula, this plain white-looking vase-shaped mushroom that's mycorrhizal, really common here in the Northwest. White spores. It's edible, but kind of boring. But that's a young, fresh one just popped up. So these mushrooms just keep fruiting over and over, and it's cool. I mean, this is an unusual year. It's an awesome year. People will remember back on this year as being like, oh, the year of 23, that was such a good mushroom season. So, you know, it's important to live in the moment and enjoy it while it's happening right now. Cool, look right here on the side of the trail. These guys are very jelly-like. Usually you see these growing off of logs, but these ones are growing just off the sticks in the ground. They just like to grow wherever they want. I see a bigger one right up here we can look at. Oh, there's more down there. These are actually pretty common, but a lot of people's bucket list mushroom. The cat's tongue, Pseudohydnum gelatinosum. Look at that. So it's got teeth under there. It's kind of rough like a cat's tongue. Sorry, my hands are super dirty from work earlier, but these guys are very gelatinous and edible. You could eat them right off the log. But Pseudohydnum, meaning a false hydnum. Hydnum is the genus that hedgehog mushrooms are in. These guys like cold weather too. They totally are cold weather tolerant. And I've made gummy candies out of these. You can find that video on the channel. But a Pseudohydnum gelatinosum, A lot of people want to collect these. I'm going to leave them behind. There's another one here and more down there. So they're pretty common. There's a lot of them out here. But nice. If you're into the forest boogers, here's a clear, translucent white forest booger for you. Another young Calicera viscosa. So they stand out really bright, and they're very waxy, but they're very bright, and they really catch your eye. These are beautiful and very photogenic little mushrooms. Look at this beauty growing on the moss right here out pretty deep in the woods. This is kind of hard to focus on. You can see that striate cap and then sort of this frosty looking base. And this one in the genus Entoloma, these are a pretty common winter mushroom. Well, there's a couple of these Entoloma / Nolania that are pretty common around here. This one, the lesser common of the two, Entoloma cetratum. So this one, the honey pink gill, so it has pink spore deposit. It's a pretty delicate mushroom, kind of fragile. And if I were to do a spore print, we'll take a look at the gills. This is a really mature specimen, so it's letting off a ton of spores, but really pretty gills. And I don't know if you can see it, but they do have a pinkish tint. There's some little hitchhikers in there, but these guys, pretty fragile. They grow singularly, sometimes in a small group of 4 or 5 of them, but this guy, Entoloma cetratum, or the honey pink gill, consider this inedible. Dude, I feel so lucky. I just happened to see these deep down here in the brush, and I picked a couple, and look at that. Our hedgehogs, hiding them. I would have walked right past them, because they're really kind of blending in, but you can see those teeth. See those teeth under there? All of the hydnum, so these mushrooms that have these teeth like this, these are all edible, and they're all delicious. These ones probably hydnum washingtoniensis. They are a little bit umbilicate, so there's umbilicatum. So either way, these ones hydnum, really good to eat. Here's good evidence that they're out here. And they do grow on the Kitsap Peninsula, not in huge numbers. They're kind of rare around here, but it'd be easy to miss those down there. So I always hope for them to be out in the more wide open, but you can find them under the brush. So they could be everywhere out here, but really exciting to me. I love hedgehogs. So I got this tackle box that I carry with me. Man, this thing smells like candy caps. So strong. I've washed it a couple of times. Look at that. Beautiful hedgehog mushrooms. So I love that. And if I put them in here, they don't get broken. Yeah, these are a real treat to me. And these are going to be going in some eggs in the morning. Man, that smells like some serious candy caps. That's crazy. I hope it doesn't make my hedgehogs taste too much like candy caps. Oh, these are pretty neat. Look, our little nidula, our little bird nest fungi. See that? They have little tiny egg-like structures that produce the spores that are down inside of them. And those are called peridioles. And when the water splashes them, they'll overflow or sometimes just splash out, and wherever they land, and they're going to eject their spores from. So these are a basidiomycete related to your cap and stem mushrooms, but these ones definitely unique, and they totally look like little birds' nests. So these ones are the woolly bird nest fungi, Nidula nivio tomentosa. Tomentosa meaning fuzzy, and you can see that they are, if I could focus, that's frustrating. There we go. See a little fuzz on those guys. So they're doing their little job out here, whatever they do. Cool. Bird nest fungi. The woolly bird nest fungi, Nidula niveo-tomentosa. So they can grow in big numbers, just on little tiny sticks and stuff. So always kind of fun to find. Big shout out to my sister. She just found some of hers, her first ones ever. So she was excited about that. And they're out right now, winter mushroom. All right, so it's been a great day out here. Happy New Year, everybody. Nice to see all these mushrooms out in the new year. Things could change if the snow hits the lowlands here, but for now, you know, we got chanterelles, winter chanterelles, hedgehogs, cat's tongues. There's all kind of fun edible mushrooms out here, as well as some really interesting ones and unique ones that you don't see at other times of the year. So if I'm repetitive on some of these videos, I apologize to those who, you know all this stuff and are tired of hearing it, but keep in mind, repetition really helps to reinforce these names and these identification features. So there's that. And there's also the fact that a lot of people are discovering the channel right now, every day, and they've never seen any of my videos. So hopefully they are getting value, and I want to welcome all of you to the channel. And I hope that this channel kind of helps make you feel like you're more of a part of the myco community. I like showing forages with like well-known mycologists and personalities on Facebook and things like that. Try to get the good mycologists to come out with me once in a while, but really the focus here is about the mushrooms. And I love being in the forest and just checking out these mushrooms and studying them. So I just want to say thank you for watching and subscribing to my channel, and we will see you on the next episode, which won't be long from now because we keep them coming. So much love, everyone. Peace out.